Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be doing my official review here on the Titanium Unlimited 140 multi-process welder from Harbor Freight. One thing before we get in the review, if you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Helps out the YouTube algorithms. And lastly, leave a comment below. Let me know what's drawing you to this machine, or if you do have this machine or a similar model, let me know what your thoughts are on it. I'm always interested to hear what people have to say about the tools that I am reviewing and their experience with them. In this video, I'm not going to be going over the specs. I'm going to mostly just be covering my experience with it over roughly about the last year, probably a couple extra months on top of that. And I'm going to be going over some of the components and the features and the quality of them, and just be talking about my experience and thoughts on this machine in general. If you want to look up the specs, there will be a link to this product in the description below, and you can go to Harbor Freight's website and look up all the specs. Let's start off with the little more boring things here, just to get them out of the way real quick. It's a 110 volt machine, so the power cord does come with a standard plug. It comes with a pretty good thick wire with a lot of insulation on it. It's about 40 degrees out, so it's not real super cold, but cold enough that a cheap cord would be really stiff. This is still pretty flexible. I don't think they cheaped out too much on the cord in any way, at least compared to some of the other machines I've used. Talk about the ground clamp. Nothing wrong with this ground clamp for what the machine is. It's all you need. Never had any issues with it. I think it's a pretty good ground clamp. The wire feed welding lead here is, definitely nothing special. It's not, any super ergonomic, super fancy space age welding equipment or anything like that. But I have had no issues with it. It's very reliable. No short issues with the switch or anything like that. You can put the gas nozzle on, or just this covering. The contact tips are standard, easy to change out, and virtually no problems. I do like the angle of the gun myself. Decent quality, nothing wrong with it, like I said. One accessory that it came with being the stick lead that I don't have here with me. It's just floating somewhere around here in the shop. Nothing special with the one that it came with, but nothing wrong with it either. It just works. It's going to do the job for you. Easy to replace if you need to replace it. Moving on to the side of the machine, nice flip open lid, good little plastic latch, opens up nice and easy. A good setting suggestion sheet here with some duty cycle information and setting information depending on the thickness of wire, if you're wire feed welding, or the thickness of welding rod you're using if you're stick welding, combined with the thickness of steel that you're welding and the shielding gas, all kinds of different things. Nice, easy chart to use. One of the most user-friendly, nice looking charts I've had on a kind of a prosumer hobby level type welding machine. Moving in here closer to the side of the machine, you place your wire spools in here. You can either run 10-pound spools, they fit in here just fine, or you can run the 1 or 2 pound spools by removing the adapter and running them there on the smaller diameter spool holder. Moving over to the wire feed mechanism, I talk about this quite often in my reviews. You can get real cheap plastic little wire feed mechanisms. This one is a nice cast aluminum stamped stainless steel sheet metal. I believe it's stamped stainless steel sheet metal. If you ever had to change any parts out on it or anything, it seems like very easy to rebuild if you really need to. I couldn't see any reason why you would need to with moderate use. I've not had any issues with it. Nice, easy, standard wheels, wire guide wheels that you can change out. Nice and easy. Just a good part that they included here with this machine. Everything's nice and clean and properly and well placed inside of here. I really like the way it's set up. Moving around to the other side, up here on top, you have a nice grab handle. You have a warning sticker that you can't see. It's not worth looking at. Some other electrical information here on the side, a vent, and the nice titanium branding. Here we're on the back. This is your power cord input and your on-off switch, and then your gas input. That's pretty much all that's back here besides some more venting. I believe there's a fan down here somewhere. Everything's pretty sleek, well put together. Moving on to the business end, the part that you're probably mostly here for. Going to talk about the different buttons and things here on this machine without going too into depth on everything they do. You have your very simple and easy to understand process selectors. So you have stick, TIG, and wire feed. So either flux core or MIG. You have a 2T tap or a 4T tap. This is in reference to wire feed welding. When you pull the trigger, you run the wire and you weld, and when you let go, you stop welding. 40. When it's down on 40, you pull the trigger and you can let go of the trigger and it'll weld without holding onto the trigger, and then you have to tap it again to stop. Nice feature on here. I don't often see those on these $500 range welding machines. I've seen them on a little bit more expensive machines. You have 3 dials here. One is for your inductance. I don't really use that a whole lot. I know that you can get kind of technical with it. I just usually set it where the suggested settings are, and I've not really noticed anything different with it. So you have your voltage setting for MIG, and then over here you have your wire feed speed for MIG, or if you're doing stick or TIG, then you can change your amperage over here. So you have amperage, wire feed speed, or volts. Now the MIG gun input here, it's not a Euro style. I don't know how standard it is. Pretty much every machine I've used up to this point has been the European style. This is a little bit different. So here's where your gas runs through, and then this is where your power runs through from, hopefully you can see it, but this little plug here. Then you have 2 DINS plugs. You know, these are pretty standard even on inexpensive machines these days, but they are a nice feature here to have. They just are a twist lock. That's real simple and easy to use. You can change polarity nice and easy when stick welding or wire feed welding. So that one I was just moving there was your wire feed cable for the wire feed lead, and then the ground cable is here. So what I must have been running that. If the ground cable is positive, then I was running DC electronegative. So the last time I used this thing, I was running flux core. So to close this video off, what are some of my final thoughts here? Well, I've used quite a few machines at this point. I don't feel like I'm a stranger to different brands and different models and different types of welding machines. I've used Amico stuff at this point, Yes Welder, quite a bit of Yes Welder stuff. I've got a Forney, I've had a Century, this titanium, quite a few different machines, and I definitely feel like this is one of the best quality machines I've used. The Yes Welder stuff's pretty good. When I make those reviews, I'm definitely not blowing smoke when I say that they're pretty good machines. For the things I do, they work great. But if you're going to tell me I can only have one machine, at least that I've owned so far for the rest of my life, no doubt this is the one I'm picking. I wouldn't have any question. It seems to just lay the nicest beads, the smoothest arc. This is definitely one of the nicest machines I've used. Like I said, I'm maybe 8 or 9 machines in at this point, different machines I've used. And everything about it, user friendliness, functionality, features that it offers, just one of the all-around best machines I've ever used, with an American company behind it. So, even if a Yes Welder for a similar price has, and I just use Yes Welder because that's a brand that I'm pretty familiar with. I've got one right here behind the camera, sitting on my welding cart. Is, as decent a machines as they make and is comparable to this machine as a lot of them are, they still at the end of the day are backed by a Chinese company that you only get a hold of at night because they're on the other side of the world from the United States. So you at least have this American company behind it. I just think that you're going to be a little bit better off purchasing from at least an American company. Even if they're all made in China, these lower end machines, it's still an American company selling it. Like I said, if this says anything, if I could only have one machine for the rest of my life of all the machines I've used, I wouldn't, no question, it would be this one. Let me know in the comments below what draws you to this machine if you're thinking of picking it up, or if you own a similar model or this model, let me know what your opinion is. I'm always interested to hear what other people's take are on the tools that I review. So don't forget to leave those comments. And lastly, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.